The old Victorian house stood on a hill overlooking the town of Havenwood, a silent, brooding sentinel. Locals called it Widow's Peak, a moniker born from the tragic tale of Eliza Blackwood, who supposedly threw herself from the tower window a century ago, driven mad by grief after her husband vanished at sea. I, of course, didn't believe in ghost stories. I was a historian, researching Victorian architecture, and the Blackwood house, despite its macabre reputation, was a perfectly preserved example. The current owner, a distant relative of Eliza named Mr. Abernathy, was eager to let me stay for a week in exchange for a thorough assessment of the property's historical significance. The first few days were uneventful. Dust motes danced in the shafts of sunlight piercing through the stained glass windows. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood and decay. I spent my days meticulously documenting the intricate carvings, the elaborate wallpaper, and the sheer architectural genius of the place. But as evening fell, a palpable shift occurred. The house seemed to exhale a chilling draft, whispering secrets I couldn't quite grasp. The floorboards creaked and groaned, not just with age, but with a rhythm that felt deliberate. On the fourth night, I woke to a sound. A faint, mournful sob coming from the attic above my room. I dismissed it as the wind. Havenwood was prone to sudden gusts. But it persisted, a heartbroken wail that echoed through the silent house. I pulled the covers tighter, trying to ignore it. But the sound grew louder, closer, as if the source was slowly descending. My heart hammered against my ribs. I fumbled for the lamp, its beam cutting through the darkness, revealing nothing but shadows that danced like phantoms on the walls. The sobbing stopped. Silence. Then, a soft scratching at the door. I froze. My breath hitched in my throat. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The sound was hesitant, pleading. "Hello?" I whispered, my voice trembling. Silence. I slowly reached for the door handle, my hand shaking. I hesitated. Something told me not to open it. A primal fear, deep within my bones, screamed at me to stay away. But curiosity, the historian's curse, overwhelmed my apprehension. I slowly turned the knob and pulled the door open a crack. Nothing. Just the cold, dark hallway stretching into the distance. I told myself it was my imagination, a trick of the old house playing on my nerves. I closed the door, locked it, and huddled in bed, convinced I wouldn't sleep another wink. But sleep came, a fitful, dream-riddled slumber. I dreamt of a woman in a long, black dress, her face obscured by shadows, weeping silently in a tower room. I woke with a jolt, covered in sweat, the image burned into my mind. The next day, I decided to explore the attic. Mr. Abernathy had mentioned it was locked, but I found a skeleton key in one of the desk drawers that fit the lock perfectly. The attic was a cavernous space filled with forgotten relics. Dust-covered furniture, moth-eaten tapestries, and stacks of yellowed letters lay scattered around. The air was thick and stagnant, heavy with the scent of decay. I moved deeper into the gloom, my flashlight beam dancing across the cobweb-draped surfaces. Then, I saw it. In the corner, obscured by a tattered velvet curtain, was a small, antique rocking chair. It was rocking. Slowly, deliberately, back and forth. My blood ran cold. I shone my flashlight on the chair, revealing nothing but dust and shadows. There was no wind, no draft, nothing that could explain the movement. I took a step back, then another. My heart pounded in my chest. I wanted to run, but my feet seemed rooted to the spot. Then, I heard it again. The sobbing. Closer this time, directly behind me. I turned, slowly, my flashlight beam shaking. And there she was. The woman from my dream. Standing in the doorway, her face still obscured by shadows, but the grief radiating from her was palpable. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I could only stare in horrified fascination. She raised a hand, a skeletal hand draped in decaying lace. Her fingers pointed towards the tower window. The window. The one from which Eliza Blackwood had supposedly leapt. A voice, raspy and weak, whispered from the shadows. "Join me." Terror overwhelmed me. I finally broke free from my paralysis and ran, stumbling through the attic, desperate to escape. I didn't look back. I didn't stop running until I was out of the house and halfway down the hill. I never went back to Widow's Peak. I left Havenwood the next day, abandoning my research, my notes, everything. Mr. Abernathy called several times, asking why I left so abruptly. I never answered. I couldn't bring myself to explain what I had seen, what I had heard. Sometimes, at night, I still hear the sobbing. I see her, the woman in the shadows, beckoning me towards the window. And I know, deep in my heart, that Eliza Blackwood is still waiting, still searching for someone to join her on her lonely, eternal fall. And sometimes, I wonder if she'll ever truly let me go.